Hello, my lovely viewers. It's great to see you again. Today's episode is part two of our chat with Dr. Eddie on what it takes to relocate to Ireland as an international medical graduate. He's kindly joined us again. And today he's going to highlight examination resources. He's also going to talk about the application process. He's also going to narrow it down and tell us what a typical day is like for an international medical graduate working in Ireland, the pros and the cons, challenges, and just a little bit about what it is like in Ireland, so that we would all be aware of it to help us make our informed decisions as to whether we want to relocate there. If you didn't watch our first video, please, I would urge you to do so so you don't miss out on the nuggets that he shared. So please sit tight and let's dive in to have a chat with Dr. Eddie. He would also be telling us about a special package for all IMGs all over the world, some groups that he's set up to offer help and support, and answers to all the numerous emails that I received from doctors all over. I didn't have all the answers, but because I definitely have you all at heart, I have found the right person who has got answers to most of your questions, even as you do your own research to help you make your own decisions. So viewers, if you didn't watch the previous video with Dr. Eddie, I would urge you to go and watch it because it was a wonderful intro to IMG pathways to practicing in Ireland. Today we'll be looking at other segments as well, to talk about the application process. We'll be looking at how to find a job, his own experience and advice he would give to people looking into working in Ireland. Life as a doctor in Ireland, a day in the life of a doctor in Ireland. What is it like? What are the good sides? What are the bad sides, if there are? And then just general advice. And he'll be telling us again about his wonderful package that he has got. I'll leave him to give us details at the end of this discussion. And without much ado, he introduced himself in the last video, but I'll just ask him to just briefly tell us who he is and his role in Ireland. He dealt with that mostly in the previous video, so I'd urge you to go back and watch that if you haven't, and then we'll dive right in. Okay, so to set the ball rolling, Dr. Eddie, can you just briefly introduce yourself again and we'll start with our conversation?
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Eddie Nancy. Currently, I'm in a standalone SHO role in Department of Hematology, one of the hospitals here in Ireland. And I've been working just about a year now in Ireland after getting my IMC last year. However, I've been in Ireland for over 4 years, since 2021 April. Yeah, that's the summary.
Yeah.
Summary of
Thank
it.
you so much, Dr. Eddie.
Yeah.
Thank you once again
Mhm,
for deciding to show up on my channel. I would like to
mhm,
tell you, viewers, Dr. Eddie didn't charge me for this. He's been so kind and he has dedicated time to share insights of his journey. So I don't take
mhm.
this for granted at all. Please like this video. Please comment in the section down below to show appreciation to him. And also, I would urge you to also consider his package that he's got for support for IMGs. So without much ado, let's talk about the application process and requirements, an overview. I know some of this information can be found on the IMC website, but if you can just highlight the main steps in the IMC
Okay.
registration process, I think that would be useful.
Okay. Now, information can be found in the medical council website. However, a lot of the time, the processes can vary. The process can vary greatly based on each person. Okay,
Mm,
it can be individualized. Okay. However, the typical process is this: if you have finished your intern, let me take Nigeria for an example. Okay, if you have finished your internship in Nigeria and you want to come to Ireland, okay, the first thing you need to do is to open an Epic account and verify your documents. That's the first thing you need to do. Start the process for verification of your documents. Okay. Now, most likely route you're going to be using is the press three route, meaning you're going to be writing the press three exam. Okay. So the first thing or the next thing after verifying your document with Epic is to create an account with the Irish Medical Council IMC account. Okay. So the way you're going to create an account is that you're going to specify or state the route, the press. You're going to select the press three route there. Okay. So when you create the account, you can do one of two things. You can create the account and wait, write your plug one or press two, okay, so that you can upload the results along with your other with your other documents. This is because you also need to upload that. You also need to add that for as part of the verification. Your plug one result or your press two results, they all have to be verified once you open your IMC account for verification. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, um, so you can either do that or you can upload, you can create the account even if you haven't written your plug one or your press two and upload all the required documents. And note that you would need to have a valid IELTS exam or
Mm,
OET. That is non-negotiable. You must have that. Okay. Now, once you've created your IMC account, you've uploaded all this. Okay, the document will include your school certificates or your diploma, your IELTS exam results, um, your lab one result or press two results. It will also include your passport. Your passport has to be notarized. Okay, and your proof of address has to be notarized, meaning that it has to be signed by either a solicitor or the police. Some they have to be able to notarize it, and that's what will be uploaded. Okay. For Epic, we are going to be verifying your license, your evidence of internship that you've completed your internship, your passport. Sometimes I didn't verify my transcript because transcript is not required for IMC. Okay, they just require your diploma. Okay.
okay.
So those are the major ones. And if you, I'll also share a website where you find this checklist and these documents that is required. So once you're able to do all that, Epic will send those verified documents straight to IMC. Okay. And you have to note that these processes are quite expensive. For example, Epic is about $100 per verification of documents, and sending it to IMC, you have to pay for that.
Mm,
When you create your IMC account, for verification, if you're using the press route, you also have to pay things about €560 that you pay for that also. Okay.
well,
Yeah.
okay.
So the next step after that then will be for IMC to get back to you. Okay. After 4 to 8 weeks, once they have been able to verify all your documents, because they will contact your medical council, contact your school to get your documents verified. Once they're able to do that, they send you an email that you are now eligible to write the press three exam. And then
Okay.
you wait.
Mm,
Yeah. And then you wait for dates to be released. Once dates are released, you will get an email. Okay, the dates are available. Select the date you want. Okay, once you select the date you want, you then pay for the exam. I think the exam is about €810. Okay, and then you write the exam. Once you pass it, you can then apply. After writing the exam it takes about 8 weeks, about 8 to 10 weeks for the results to come out. Once the result comes out, you then apply for registration. Registration takes about 10 weeks. Then once you get your registration, you can now start applying for jobs. Okay.
mm.
So that is those are the steps. Okay. So now for somebody who is already, I don't know if I should go straight into somebody who already has GMC, already has other qualifications at this point.
Absolutely. I think that, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
crucial.
So
Yeah.
for somebody who already has GMC, for example, um, you can apply, you can be exempt from press three, meaning that you may not need to write press three exam. The reason why I said may is because it also then depends on individuality. Okay. Why is because now for those who graduated from European University, European Economic Area, um, they apply for IMC. Okay, they get the IMC. All right. But for those of us who graduate from parts of Africa that the medical license and all quite recognized, it might be you know it might be a little bit difficult. However, with GMC is recognized in Ireland, so you're exempt from press three. What you need to do is to ensure that you have your GMC, that you are licensed to practice. Okay,
Okay.
you have your proof of English proficiency. Okay, you have every other document like your passport and your proof of completion of your internship. You know all that. Once you have all that, what you need to do is you open an account with IMC directly. Okay, and you upload these documents.
Mm,
You understand? So then we get back to you to tell you that, oh, you will get, or you are exempt for press three, and then you can get your IMC directly without needing to write any exam. Okay.
well,
However, for some
yeah.
people, they may require additional documents depending on what you provide during your application. Okay, but generally, the straightforward process is that once you have all these criteria, you have all these documents, you have your GMC, your license to practice, you don't need to write press three. You you apply for the general division of the IMC, and you can become registered with IMC directly like that. Okay. For those who already have completed the specialist program, they can also apply directly. Okay, so you just open your IMC account, you use the specialist route, okay, and just upload your certificate of completion of your specialist program and every other document that's required, and you can become registered in the specialist division of the IMC
Mm,
like that.
okay. I've been taking notes
Mm,
myself, US. Dr. Eddie is
mm,
very good. He I asked him in the last video, he says he teaches. He's very
mm.
systematic. That's one thing I realized about you.
Yes,
He's broken
yes.
things down. I've actually written point one, point two, point three, and it really
Mm,
makes sense, viewers.
mm.
I thank you once again, Eddie, for all of this, for making
Yeah, my
it
pleasure.
make sense to us
Yes,
all about
my pleasure. My
the
pleasure.
process. That's really,
Mm-hmm,
really good.
mm-hmm.
Now, the big thing, the big issue now, finding a job. I think we'll start with you if you don't mind. Just telling us a
Yeah,
bit
yeah,
about
yeah.
how
Okay.
you landed your first job.
Mm. Yeah, so I would use my experience and experience of my other colleagues because those are two different pathway, and every other person, every prospective person, looking to come to Ireland would fall in either group.
Okay.
Okay. Now, for me personally, because I already had permission to work, I didn't need sponsorship, I didn't need visa or anything. I wasn't really, and I already had a job. I could take care of my family very well, very comfortable. I wasn't, head, even though I was, looking for a job, I was very enthusiastic, but it wasn't, as vigorous or as rigorous as somebody who needs to leave Nigeria. Okay. Now, so when I got my license, it took me a few good 6, 7 months before I started practicing. Okay. So because my CV, because I have experience all over. When I was in Nigeria, I practiced I have very extensive fertility experience. I have experience in NICU, pediatrics. I have experience in A&E. Okay. But these were not the primary areas I wanted to work. I wanted to be an anesthesiologist while I was in Nigeria. So I got my primaries there. And then when I came here, my CV encompassed everything. Okay. My primaries, my experience in fertility, in pediatrics, but it wasn't niched on anesthesiology. Okay. So when I was applying
Okay.
for jobs in anesthesia, I wasn't getting any. And then I started applying for jobs in medicine, in cardiology, respiratory. So because if you see the advert for jobs here, you would not see it's not common to see SHO internal medicine. What you will see is SHO respiratory, SHO cardiology, SHO gastroenterology,
Oh, that's
SHO
interesting.
rheumatology, SHO oncology, SHO hematology, because they are quite particular about specialty here.
Okay.
Okay, they're
Mm.
quite particular about specialty. So when I saw that wasn't working for me, I started adjusting my CV. Okay, so I decided to go through the path of least resistance, which is to go to medicine. All right. So what I did then was that I registered with the Royal College of Physicians of Ireland, and I got into their professional competency scheme. It's what called professional competency scheme. There, they would, you will need to do courses. You will need to do CPD courses. You need to get up to 40 CPD. You need to do audits or research. So that encourages you to, look for things to do. So I have to
Mm.
then do BLS. I have to then do ACLS. I have to go for do webinars and do some other courses. So then that helped to improve my CV. So I then decided, okay, since I have interest in hematology and oncology, let me apply for hematology. Then I tailored my CV to that area. And then I got my first interview for a job in hematology in Beaumont Hospital here in Ireland. Beaumont Hospital is one of the largest hospitals in Ireland. It's a national neuroscience center. Everything neurology, neurosurgery, renal transplant, cochlear transplant, and all that. Beaumont is the national center for that. So my first interview, I got it, and they gave me the job immediately. It was an immediate start. So after working a few months in hematology, I rotated to oncology, did a few months there, and then rotated back to hematology again, which I'm currently doing now. Okay. Now this process of getting job was slightly different from one of my colleagues. We wrote the press 3 exam together. We passed together. He was a senior registrar in obstetrics and gynecology. just about to be a consultant, less than 1 year before becoming a consultant. And we pressed three together,
Wow.
passed it. So he didn't apply for obstetrics and gynecology role. He applied for psychiatry, the
Why?
registrar role, because it's a little bit easier for these
Oh.
positions to get them. Okay, because for obstetrics and gynecology, the requirement is very steep. The same
Mm,
thing for specialties like anesthesia, surgery. You have to have a lot of experience. You have to have a lot of research. You have to have done a lot. Okay,
okay.
and you must not have gap in your CV. In terms of your experience, if you are going for all these for this high end. Okay, so he applied for psychiatry and he got it. He got a registrar job in psychiatry. He's doing very well now with his family in Sligo here in Ireland. He's doing very well. Making good money.
Ah, I'm happy for him.
Yeah, 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 yeah. He's making good money. So his experience, he's been working. Another thing you should mention here is that if you're working in a teaching hospital, that gives you an advantage because your experience in a teaching hospital will help when negotiating your salary. Okay, so if you have experience in teaching hospital, you are likely going to earn more.
I
Okay,
see.
with your experience, yeah, yeah. So if you have teaching hospital experience in your CV, just know that that's a good one. Okay, so you're not going to start from the basic. You're,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be somewhere either the middle or the high end.
Yeah, where we all want to be.
Exactly, exactly. So,
Okay.
so he got into he. So after the press three, he had to go back and continue his job. He was applying for the jobs in Nigeria. While I was here, applying for my job here. So contrasting processes. So he did his interview while he was there in Nigeria. He got the job. He provided him with everything that he needed. He came with his 4 kids and his wife here. So he provided everything. And needless to say that another thing about Ireland is that once you enter the system, you've been able to put your feet down in the Irish medical system. It's unlikely that you'll be out of a job. Okay, even if you don't have the HSC role, you can do locum jobs. There are locum jobs everywhere. My phone keeps blowing up for locum jobs here and there. So you just need to be able to enter the medical system, and there will always be something. There would always be job for you to do. Okay. Yeah. So that's the typical way you apply. So there are websites. Okay. There's Irish Jobs.ie. There's Indeed. There's HFC Careers. Those are sites that you can use to apply for jobs. If you have LinkedIn, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you can put your profile on LinkedIn, have a very robust LinkedIn profile, and you can be getting alerts from HSC directly when these jobs are available. I get them on my LinkedIn every time. Okay. And as I said before, you have to know where you want to practice and you have to, streamline, you have to be able to sell them on your experience in your practice, and your CV has to be able to reflect the enormous thing. It's okay to exaggerate, okay? Okay,
Okay.
so yeah, it's okay to exaggerate your CV a little bit to reflect, your experience. And if you have research is very good. If you do case presentations and all that, those are also very good. But experience is also very good. Okay. Another thing I also advise is that for those who are coming to do medicine, the membership exams, if you have the money and you have the time, you can look at doing the membership exams while you are, doing all this part while you are applying for jobs. Even if it's the part one or the part two, try and, just write it if you have the money. That can also help, can also improve your chances significantly of getting a job. Okay. Yeah, so you can always apply for jobs from where you are, do your interviews. Most interviews these days are usually online, so you will do your interview online. And as long as you're able to perform very well, you're likely
Mm.
going to get a job. And you can apply for different hospitals. If you're not getting the job that you want, what you can do is you can create different CVs for different roles, maybe up to 2 or 3 CVs, and use it to apply for different roles. Okay, so you can use it to apply for different roles, whichever one comes, you prepare for the interview, and you can get the job.
My viewers watching, undoubtedly, Dr. Eddie is experienced. and he has highlighted some key nuggets, as I'll call them,
mm,
that we should all be aware of. The good thing is that he's
mm,
not only advising us today on the channel, he has a package for anyone who's interested. There's opportunity to have a one-on-one chat with him, which I know most people are looking for because my emails keep getting flooded with IMGs writing to me. And
yeah.
yes, I have answered by finding the right person with all the information. So that's Dr. Eddie. He'll be talking more about the package at the end. So sit
And giving
tight.
information that you require. Okay. You will find a lot of Pakistanis here because Pakistanis, they don't need to write any exam. All they need to do is to apply for IMC. And you
Really?
can, yes, you don't, as a Pakistani, you don't write any exam. The
Exam.
only
Good.
exam you write is IELTS. Just prove your English proficiency, apply for
Mm,
IMC, and you get it. So you
I
find a lot of
see.
Pakistanis here. You find a lot of Indians, and those are also very nice people. Also, so it's quite diverse. For the nurses, you find a lot of Filipino nurses. Yeah, a lot of Indian nurses. A lot of them, you know, maybe up to 70% of the nurses here will probably be foreigners, or as much as 60% at least, in a particular hospital. So, and
Okay.
these people are also very nice to work with. There's a lot of
Yeah.
teamwork, unlike the kind of training we are used to in Nigeria, where you have to be very afraid of your consultant. You have to shiver at the presence of your consultant. Doesn't It's not like that here. You and your consultant can have very good communication, very good rapport. You can call your consultant, you can send them emails, and you can always ask them questions. So the work environment here, I would say, is very good and very
Hmm.
accommodating for IMGs.
This is so heartwarming to hear. I know when you
Yeah,
talk about medical school like back in Africa and you know
yeah,
how things are, like your
yeah,
consultant is
yeah,
here
yeah, yeah.
and you are there.
You are there. Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
I'm just having some flashbacks of the past, but I'll just leave it there. So, the thing is,
Yeah,
challenges. Everything has
mm,
pros and cons. I think
yeah,
for me, I'm just wondering, with the
mm,
accent, um, this may be quite subjective, but
mm.
how did you manage, with the Irish accent and generally how are IMGs coping in Ireland?
Yeah. Oh, no, no, no. The accent is not a problem at all. Trust me, you would not have any problem understanding an Irish person, especially those in the medical field, because these people are learned. They don't use slangs. They speak good English. So you're not likely to have any problem understanding them.
Okay,
You were trained in English in your university. I was trained in English, so communication would not be a problem. The only
okay.
you just have to prove that you are competent in English. Just write the IELTS exam,
IELTS.
right?
Okay,
But
okay,
from the other side, from their own end, they speak well.
okay,
Okay, so if you are having a conversation with a consultant, maybe you need to discuss a case to a consultant. You're not going to have problem understanding what your consultant is saying, or your
okay,
registrar, or your senior registrar. Okay, the accent is not going to be if it's not a barrier for me, I don't think to be a barrier for most of us, for the majority of us. And I've not really seen any doctor here who complains of the accent
the accent.
of Irish doctors, because first of all, you're going to also meet people like yourselves, doctors like yourselves. You're
Yeah,
going to also meet Nigerians or Ghanaians there. You're going to meet Pakistanis there,
yeah.
Indians. You're going to meet Filipinos there. So everybody speaks English. You have to be good in English to be able to be in their medical system, which is why they have an English requirement.
Okay.
Okay. So during your interview, also you will also speak with them. You also hear them. They will also hear you. You also be able to
Mm,
prove your English competency and your communication skills during your interview, which is also something you also have to add to your CV. Okay, that you have good
that's
communication
another tip
skills
for
and
you
all that.
viewers.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, good,
So yeah, so
good.
there will be no problem with
With the
with
accents. Oh,
comprehension.
right.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in terms of cons, in terms of challenges, as with every foreign land, as with every foreign place you would work, there might be slight, initial, difficulty in, getting maybe the job you want. Okay. Some people they look for job for just 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. They're already, worried, want to give up and all that. No. With Ireland, you have to be patient. This is because Ireland, in terms of recruitment, Ireland usually will recruit around January. Okay,
Mm,
January, July, most times. Most of the
okay.
recruitment will be for January and July. So by now, adverts would have already been pouring in by now. Okay,
Mm,
for the posts for July for January. Okay, for January posts. Okay. So your CV is very strong. You have very good experience. You have research. You have your IMC. You have your English language testing system, results and all that. You have a good chance, I'd say. Okay. So just that this can take a while. Ireland is a very slow country. So that's one of the funds.
Now, I think that's the exciting bit about
Yeah.
a day in the life of a doctor in Ireland. So,
Right.
generally, how is the work culture like in
Okay.
Ireland?
I'll say it depends on you and depends on the specialty you are. Okay.
Okay.
For example, I have a friend who also wrote the press three together who is in GP training right now. He wanted to be a GP. Oh, sorry, he initially didn't want to be a GP because he was an SHO in obstetrics and gynecology, but then decided to go into GP.
Okay.
His experience in the hospital he was working was that it was very busy, even though he was making good money, but it was a very busy hospital, University of Galway Hospital. That's also one of the largest hospitals in Ireland too.
Oh, I see.
And obstetrics and gynecology is quite a busy department there,
Yeah.
So he
Yeah.
decided to, write the GP exams and all that, and fortunately got in, and he's currently in his first year, as a GP trainee. So that's essentially a GP training period. If you are in the hospitals, you've not been posted to your GP site. It can be also, strenuous. But as a GP here, it's a bit more relaxed and chilled. But for those who are going to surgery, going to anesthesia, it can be slightly, your day-to-day activity can be slightly more eventful. It can be more busy compared to others.
Mm.
The same thing for some medical specialties, like hematology oncology is also a busy department. I didn't think it was that busy initially. Honestly, I didn't think it was busy, but I came to find that it's quite busy.
Oh, I thought your
Um,
job was chill, Dr. Eddie. Are you sure?
yeah, that's what I thought. Honestly, that's what I thought. But
Okay.
very busy, honestly, and there's a lot to know. Jesus Christ, several things that you need to know and to
What
learn.
are the working hours like? Sorry to cut in, but
Yeah, no, yeah. So typically it's a 39-hour week. Okay,
okay.
so yeah, so typically
39. Why not
yeah.
40?
No, it's
Why?
not 240. Most
Okay.
most HSC jobs is 39 hours.
39 hours. Okay,
Yeah,
good to
yeah,
know.
yeah. Most HSC jobs is 39 hours. For some, depending on your contract, though, for some it's 37 hours. Okay,
Oh,
but the
okay.
maximum will be 39 hours. You will never see a 40-hour week on your contract. It's very
Okay.
unlikely. Yeah, so
Okay.
most will be 37, most will be 39, others will be 39. Okay.
Okay.
So, however, you would do calls and there will be opportunity for overtime. Okay. So the calls, it depends on the specialty. Again, for example, emergency department, they do shifts. They don't do calls. Okay.
Oh, okay.
For
Yeah.
other medical, yeah, ED does shifts. Yeah, most ED departments in Ireland will be a shift pattern. Okay. While the medical department, normally you come to work eight, depending on the department. In oncology, for example, where I worked, we came to work around 7 because ward rounds will start around 7:15 or 7:30.
Okay.
And you are likely going to close very late, maybe at 7 or half 6. But typically, your working hours is from 9 to 5. That's the typical working hours. Okay.
Okay.
But your department will then determine what is required of you. Okay. Some departments very cheap, for example, infectious diseases, you can come at 9, you close at 5. Okay. Rheumatology, you can come at 9, you close at 5. For cardiology, you come at 7. Oncology, you come at 7. Hematology, you must be at work before by 8 a.m. Okay. So it all depends on your contract and what is required
Okay.
of you. But typically, this a work-life balance. Okay, I'd say because they don't play with their holiday. They love their holidays. The Irish people love their holidays, so they must take their holiday. So you must take your holiday.
Yes,
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
important, isn't it? All
Yeah.
work and
Yeah.
no play. Yeah.
Yeah. There's also what they call some hospitals provide what they call compensatory rest. So if you work 10 days in a row, you can take one day off. If you work 11 days in a row, you can take 2 days off. Okay. Um, you know, so most times weekends should be free except you're on call during the
Mm.
weekend. So, but generally, you can always balance it. And if you're writing exams, we always give you study leave. You can apply
Oh,
for it,
good.
and you always get it. That's always very important. And as long as you're working for HSC, certain things are reimbursed. For example, if you write exams, MRCP exams, and you pass it, fully reimbursed. Even if you fail it, they will reimburse some part of it.
Fully.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
mean the cost of the exam?
The exams, yes, they'll pay you back for everything. Everything.
Wow.
They reimburse the exams in full. If you fail, they reimburse the exams in parts,
Okay.
depending on your balance. But for if you pass it, they reimburse it in full. Okay. So
This is
that's
interesting.
also another thing. Yeah, that's also
Mm.
another thing. They they'll take from your salary, your gross salary or your net salary, your pension will come out from it. It will come out from your gross. Your tax, your PRS, and that will come out from your gross. And depending on and they have a scale, okay, for salary for each post SHO reg. SRO and all that. And every year you climb up the scale. Every year you're promoted to different
Every
scale.
year.
Yeah, every year your scale will increase, meaning your salary will increase. Okay. So it will be there, everything will be stated clearly in your contract. But working in Ireland, I'll say it's quite good. The hospitals, every hospitals may have different processes and methods. They may have different standards, different protocols. They may have you know, different materials or recording systems. Some hospitals are fully digital, okay, no paper. Some still have paper, like one I work in, we still use case notes, even though we have system computers and all that, computers for bloods and all that. Some are fully digital. Um, the staff you have the ranking from professors, the consultants, the specialist registrars, the registrars, the SHOs, the interns, medical students, and all that. What you will find is that some SHOs here will probably have more experience than the registrar or the SRO, because the medical system here in
Really?
Ireland is, the way it works is that once if you graduate from an Irish medical school, you go into an internship immediately. From internship, you can go into your specialist training. So you can find a consultant here that is just 35 years old, maybe 36 or 34, see
Wow.
consultant. Yeah, 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 yeah. So, and once you can go from your internship straight to your specialist training, your basic specialist training can be 2 years, your higher specialist training can be 5 years or 4 years, depending on the specialty. And after that, you do your fellowship and you're a consultant. So their pathway can be bit
Hmm.
very straight.
Yeah.
And medical school here is around 5 years maximum or 4 years. So yeah, so you have consultants and they're very they're very supportive. Okay. You will hardly find anybody who rebukes or who is abusive or very unfriendly. Okay. The average Irish doctor, the average Irish person is very accommodating and is willing to teach you and is willing to support you and give you
Oh,
information that you require. Okay. You will find a lot of Pakistanis here because Pakistanis, they don't need to write any exam. All they need to do is to apply for IMC, and you
really?
can, yes, you don't, as a Pakistani, you don't write any exam. The
Exam.
only
Good.
exam you write is IELTS. Just prove your English proficiency, apply for your
Hmm.
IMC, and you get it. So you
I
find a lot of
see.
Pakistanis here. You find a lot of Indians, and those are also very nice people also. So it's quite diverse. For the nurses, you find a lot of Filipino nurses, yeah, a lot of Indian nurses. A lot of them, you know, maybe up to 70% of the nurses here will probably be foreigners, or as much as 60% at least, in a particular hospital. So, and
Okay.
these people are also very nice to work with. There's a lot of
Yeah.
teamwork. Unlike the kind of training we are used to in Nigeria, where you have to be very afraid of your consultant, you have to shiver at the presence of your consultant. Doesn't It's not like that here. You and your consultant can have very good communication, very good rapport. You can call your consultant, you can send them emails, and you can always ask them questions. So the work environment here, I would say, is very good and very
Hmm.
accommodating for IMGs.
This is so heartwarming to hear. I know when you
Yeah,
talked about medical school like back in Africa and you know
yeah,
how things are, like your
yeah,
consultant is
yeah,
here
yeah, yeah.
and you are there.
You are there. Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
I'm just having some flashbacks of the past, but I'll just leave it there. So, the thing is,
Yeah,
challenges. Everything has
mm,
pros and cons. I think
yeah,
for me, I'm just wondering, with the
mm,
accent, this may be quite subjective, but
mm.
how did you manage, with the Irish accent and generally how are IMGs coping in Ireland?
Yeah, oh, no, no, no. The accent is not a problem at all. Trust me, you would not have any problem understanding an Irish person, especially those in the medical field, because these people are learned. They don't use slangs. They speak good English. So you're not likely to have any problem understanding them.
Okay,
You were trained in English in your university. I was trained in English, so communication would not be a problem. The only
okay.
you just have to prove that you are competent in English. Just write the ITS exam,
IELTS.
right?
Okay,
But
okay,
from the other side, from their own end, they speak well.
okay,
Okay, so if you are having a conversation with a consultant, maybe you need to discuss a case to a consultant. You're not going to have problem understanding what your consultant is saying, or your
okay.
registrar, or your senior registrar. Okay, the accent is not going to be if it's not a barrier for me, I don't think to be a barrier for most of us, for the majority of us. And I've not really seen any doctor here who complains of the accent
The accent.
of, Irish doctors. Because first of all, you're going to also meet people like yourselves, doctors like yourselves. You're
Yeah.
going to also meet Nigerians or Ghanaians there. You're going to meet Pakistanis there,
Yeah.
Indians, you're going to meet Filipinos there. So everybody speaks English. You have to be good in English to be able to be in the medical system, which is why they have an English requirement.
Okay.
Okay. So during your interview, also, you also speak with them. You also hear them. They will also hear you. You also be able to
Mm,
prove your English competency and your communication skills during your interview, which is also something you also have to add to your CV. Okay, that you have good
that's
communication
another tip
skills
for
and
you
all that.
viewers.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, good,
So
good.
there will be no problem with
With the
with
accents. Oh,
comprehension. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in terms of cons, in terms of challenges, as with every foreign land, as with every foreign place you would work, there might be slight, initial, difficulty in, getting maybe the job you want. Okay. Some people they look for job for just 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. They're already, worried, want to give up and all that. No. With Ireland, you have to be patient. This is because Ireland, in terms of recruitment, Ireland usually will recruit around January. Okay,
Mm,
January, July, most times. Most of the
okay.
recruitment will be for January and July. So by now, adverts would have already been pouring in by now. Okay,
Mm,
for the posts for July for January. Okay, for January posts. Okay. So your CV is very strong. You have very good experience. You have research. You have your IMC. You have your English language testing system, results and all that. You have a good chance, I'd say. Okay. So just that this can take a while. Ireland is a very slow country. So that's one of the cons there. Which other cons will be there again? Which other problems we face here in Ireland? In terms of salary, I have
yes.
from
Let me put
different
on my
sources.
glasses here because salary is
Okay,
very important for us. Yeah.
yeah. So
Okay.
from different sources that I know, I've heard,
Mm-hmm.
that I've compared with, salary is slightly better in Ireland compared to the UK.
Oh, I
Okay.
see.
Yes,
Any
salary
idea
is
where
slightly
we
better.
can have, like a fair overview of
Yes.
salaries,
So
maybe on the website or
if you go to HSE salary scale, just Google HSE salary scale.
HSE salary
Yeah,
scale?
salary.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you Google
Viewers, I'll be
HSE
putting this
salary,
in the comment section for you to have a
yeah.
look. Yeah.
So if you Google HSE salary scale, you can narrow it to HSE doctors salary scale. You'll find
Mm,
it there.
okay.
Okay, you'll find the salary scale there.
Doctors.
You'll find how much an average. So as I said, there are different salary scale, and this will depend on your level of experience. In comparison with UK, salary is a bit better here. I don't know how the taxing system is in UK, but the tax quite a lot here. Fair, I'll say me personally, I think the tax is fair. Okay, but the more you earn, the more you're going to be taxed.
Yes.
And tax, yeah. So but the taxing system is fairly fair here. For me, a lot of people think it's still a lot, and that's understandable.
Okay.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. In terms of what other disadvantage can I think of now? Um.
Viewers, I think Dr. Eddie has really sold Ireland to all of us. In
A
fact,
lot of, yeah.
now I'm even
Yeah.
considering it myself
Yeah.
because
It's
I've been
it's
writing.
actually a very good, it's actually a very good
Oh,
place to work. I have to say, I don't know how it
mm,
is in the UK. I don't know how the experience is. Maybe others might have, something, might have a good experience in UK and would not want to, consider. But for those who are just coming, who have not tried UK or Ireland, Ireland can be a very good start for you. If you want
mm,
to go back to the UK after some time, to build some more experience or go into a specialty that is not as sophisticated in Ireland, you can decide to go to the UK
mm.
and do that. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
during the course of the discussion, I'll remember a, you know, a drawback in Ireland,
Ah,
and I'll let you know.
I think the medical council or whoever is in charge should recruit Dr. Eddie to advertise for them because he's doing justice. He's doing a very good
Yeah,
job
yeah.
selling Ireland to us. But we
Mm,
really
yeah.
appreciate the insights you shared. To be fair,
Mhm, mhm,
lots of IMGs are looking for this type of information to
yeah.
help make an informed decision. I think my
Mhm.
next question will be about family life. One of the
Mm.
emails I did receive from the IMGs was about how it is. I know this can be subjective, so viewers, this is definitely not like 100% advice. This is Dr. Eddie's own opinion, but I just want to find out how it is like for immigrants, raising kids there. I know you've talked about the area being, receptive to immigrants, so that's
Yeah,
very, very
yeah,
reassuring. But
yeah,
generally, how do you find that?
yeah. I find that okay. So if you have a family here, the good thing about Ireland is slightly more conservative compared to the UK. When I mean conservative, I mean it's less um you know indoctrination. Crime is not as common here. All those knife crime, gun violence and all that.
Mm,
It's not as common in Ireland.
okay,
Okay. Ireland is quieter. It's more serene and more calm
okay,
compared to the UK. Okay, so if you have a family, Ireland is definitely a better place to raise a family compared to the UK. That's 100%. People who have lived in Ireland and lived in the UK, they will tell you that. Okay. UK may have some other, advantage in terms of family, but definitely for me, in terms of raising a family, I prefer Ireland. Now, for school,
mm-hmm,
education is free here for children.
okay.
Okay. So education is free. Public
From
schools
from
are
what
free.
age? What age does it start
So
from, if you have any idea?
for children going to creche, usually you have 3 hours free. They call it ECCE, three
Okay,
hours free for creche from Monday to Friday. Okay. If you want more hours, then you then have to pay for creche. Okay. You can also decide that you want to do childcare and child minders to have child minder in your house. Then you don't have to pay for that separately for yourself. Okay.
okay,
My own situation is slightly different because my wife works remotely. She works in pharmaceuticals, so she works from the house. While I have to go out to work, and our kids, they are in the ECC program, so she's able
okay,
to manage, working from home and mind the kids. And when I come, I also assist her. When I was working from home for more than 2 years, she was working from the office, so I was the
uh,
one taking care of the
so
kids,
that was a good
and
balance.
I think,
Yeah.
yeah, it was very good for us. But a lot of people might not have that kind of balance because both parties may have to work from the office. Then childcare has to come in. Okay, childcare can be quite expensive. Okay, but as a doctor, you are likely to be able to handle or to cover childcare.
Okay,
Okay, especially if both parties are working. Okay, but after fresh, once they get into school, the whole I don't know what they call it, grade one or level one or the whole junior infant school and all that. It's free. Okay, after crash, it's free. So everything is free. Medically too, they also get their medical visits are also free. Okay, so the GP cards, the hospital visits and all that, they're all free. The only thing is, if when you visit a GP and they prescribe medications for you, you may have to pay for the drugs if you buy it in the pharmacy. Okay. However, if you try to go to the hospital and it's admitted for any reason, it's managing the hospital. Treatment, everything is free. GP visits are usually free. They usually give them a GP card up to I think 8 years or so, and as long as they are children, their healthcare is free. Okay. You can find more information about that online
yeah,
also. Um, what else? Family, yeah, there's a good amount of family life balance. What I find is that some of my colleagues, what happens, especially my Indian and Pakistani colleagues, if the wife is not in the medical field, some of them the wife stays at home while the husband works, or the wife works remotely while the husband is going okay, or the wife works at night if the husband is able to come home and mind kids at night. Okay, so there's usually a way to go around to work around it. Okay, to get
mm,
that balance. Okay, but if you're thinking of a place to raise a family to raise kids, Ireland is a very good place to raise children. Okay,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, yes. So, still talking about the social side of things, viewers, we are
Mm-hmm.
nearing the end of our chat, but I know people from diverse faiths are watching this channel. So just want to know, in terms of Christianity, in terms of Muslims,
Mm-hmm.
how are things like in terms of faith? Would
Mm-hmm.
people be able to find their churches or
Yeah,
mosques or things
yeah.
like
Oh,
that? If
definitely,
yeah,
definitely. Oh, definitely. Yeah, I attend Winners, um, Dublin. alone. Okay, there's a branch. The branch I attend in Winners Chapel is in Dublin. There are a few branches, scattered around. Okay,
Okay.
just behind my house is Redeemed Christian Church of God. There's
Okay.
Mountain of Fire. There's we had several other churches here.
Okay.
Mhm. There are also mosques. Even in hospitals, there are mosques. There are prayer rooms where Muslims can go and pray when they want. There are doctors' reservations with separate rooms where the doctor can pray. Um, you know, you can find churches everywhere. You can find fellowships,
Mm.
even in your place of work. Okay,
Yeah.
there are Jehovah Witnesses here in Ireland. Ireland is a Christian country. Okay, it's a Catholic country. Okay,
Okay.
so majority of the Irish people are Catholics. A lot of them go for missionary projects and all that. Okay, a lot of old school Irish people are very conversant with Africa. Okay, they've been to
I
some African,
see.
yeah, they've been to African countries. They've done missionary projects or journeys in African countries. Um, so yeah, place of faith, Ireland is a place of faith. It's just that you will also find a lot of Irish people who don't, go to church, you know, but for immigrants, you will
Mm-hmm.
be able to find where you will fellowship. Whether
Very
you're a
long.
Muslim or a Christian, you will find where to fellowship, definitely.
Okay, okay. So I
Mm.
think my final question will be about food. Food
Mm.
is important, especially for us Africans. Oh my God.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
for
yeah.
Ghanaians, you guys, I mean, Nigerians have swallow and things like that. You know, the
Hmm.
stuff needed to make the food. Ghanaians, we
Hmm.
eat banku, fufu, like lots of things. I know Pakistanis, Indians, they've got their own foods as well.
Mm.
Do you have such shops in Ireland?
Yeah, we do, definitely. I have an
Okay.
African shop just less than 3 minutes walk from my house.
Oh,
You know,
good.
yeah, it's a Nigerian owned African shop where you can find all your African stuff there. If I drive 5 minutes, I also find another African shop. If I drive 15 minutes, I also find another African shop. If I go to Dublin, because I live outside Dublin
Okay.
currently. I was in Dublin before, but I live outside Dublin. Dublin is the capital city of Ireland, but I live very close to UK actually. I live in Dundalk.
Oh, I
Dundalk
see.
Dundalk is 12 minutes from Newry, which is Northern Ireland, which is part of the UK.
Yes.
And
Okay.
I'm closer to Belfast than I am to Dublin. So I'm actually closer to to
Oh.
the UK than I am to the capital city of Ireland. Yeah, so you would find African shops around everywhere you go, every city you go or town, you will definitely find an African shop where you can buy your
Mm,
African things and make your African delicacies. Okay.
yeah.
Now, point of note is that the stuff you might find might not be as fresh as the ones you will find if you're back home. This is because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things are brought in bulk and they have to be refrigerated, they have to be stored one way or the other.
Yes.
However, you would likely find what you're looking for in Ireland in the African shop.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
Yeah. So the food aspects, don't worry, you're covered. You're
And
covered.
to add this for my lovely viewers who eat halal foods, is that available as well?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay.
I have a lot of
Okay.
Pakistani friends here
Okay.
that yeah, it's very
Okay.
available.
Anyway, viewers, I'm sure you've enjoyed our chats all the way this far. And we have a previous video. If you haven't watched that, please do yourself a favor to watch that video as well and come back to watch this one. I would ask Dr. Eddie to tell us about his package one more time, just an overview of what help he's offering international medical graduates like you and me. And I will be putting up links to his social media accounts and the relevant, services that he offers. And the relevant websites as well for finding jobs and other things. So, Dr. Eddie, can you briefly tell us again? He did tell us in the first video, and I would ask him to tell us again before we end.
Okay, yeah. So I offer three tiered packages. The first is a one-on-one session where you tell me about your intention for coming to Ireland. We talk about the stage that you are currently, and we'll go through a checklist you know, for the criteria and requirements that you need to meet. And we also, give a follow-up email of our discussion and give you general advice on what to do. We also have a hands-on package where we help you in terms of application for EPIC ECFMG for verification of your documents, your application in the IMC portal, because that is also very important. We'll give you pointers on direct you so that you don't make any mistakes and avoid delay. Okay. We'll also, help you in preparation for, exams, introduce you to groups, WhatsApp groups, and people who are also in the same process with you, that will help you in terms of sharing materials, meetings for tutorials and teachings and all that. And then we have the add-ons where I help people who are looking for jobs in terms of creating, a suitable CV, sending job links because I usually will look for jobs, send the link, ask you to apply for the jobs, referrals and
Hmm.
all that, and how to, create a CV to streamline your CV to a particular job. I also give, advice on, jobs, kind of jobs to look for, specialties where you would easily, get opportunities and areas where you can find jobs easily in Ireland. Just help you through the whole process. So those are the three different packages that I offer at the moment.
Thank you very much, Dr. Eddie. I can't thank
Mm,
you enough. In fact, you agreed to do this for free. You agreed to come on this channel and
mm,
share your experience, share these insights that people
mm.
rarely give out
Yeah,
freely. I am so grateful.
yeah. Just
And
one thing I need
yes,
to add before, yeah. So everything that I've said, from you know personal experience,
hmm,
experience from colleagues, people that I've
yes,
worked with, a lot of what I've worked with, and personal, research. So I will also advise viewers to, of course, reach out if they have any questions or any reservations or any contradictions with everything that we've discussed today, and we can iron it out. And to also do a little bit of
absolutely.
research to validate everything that we've heard today. So that's how we grow, that's how we learn. Okay.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So, viewers, I believe this has given you an overview. And as Dr. Eddie said, we urge you to also make an informed decision by doing your extra research. And if you want to
Mhm.
consider his package as well, by all
Exactly.
means, book that call. I will be dropping the relevant links. And then you
Mhm.
can get some tips from him as well. Who knows?
Yeah.
You would land your job very soon. Thank you
By
very
God's
much,
grace.
Dr. Eddie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I will be
Thank you.
knocking on your door again at some point for
No problem.
another chat.
Always happy to
As
help.
yeah, thank you so much. I don't take this for granted at all. And as more
Not a
questions
problem.
come up, we may plan other subsequent sessions with Dr. Eddie. So please stay tuned on the channel, like, share, and subscribe. I will be sharing his social media handles, his LinkedIn account if he's happy, and other relevant links in
All
the
right.
video description.
Yeah.
Thank you, viewers. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.
All right then. Thank you very much. Bye bye.